Welcome back to another episode of the Purple Pill Podcast. This is your host, Rob. That's my co host, Darren. Unfortunately, LA is not here with us today, but he will be back with us next week. So we're just going to do the podcast with just me and Darren today. Let's just get right into it. Before we do that, how you been, Darren? How's your week been?
A little stressed this week, but I ain't letting that bring me down. That's the way I look at it.
Right on, right on.
How you doing?
Uh, I feel like I'm just going through life, honestly.
Sometimes those are ways, and sometimes that's not a bad thing.
Yep. All right.
But shout out to LA. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Um, So let's get right into our topics. The first thing I wanted to talk about today was you put in our group chat this Mike Tyson Hulu story. What's this about?
So, not completely sure on it, but I think Mike Tyson has a story coming out on Hulu. At least Hulu has a story coming out on Mike Tyson. Let's just put it like that, actually. And Mike Tyson, I don't think he knew about it at all until recently. Like we all are finding out about it through advertisements and stuff. But he didn't give them permission about this, and he's not getting paid for it. And I think this is very fucked up because if there's one person who has a really interesting, great story in modern times, it's Mike Tyson from his story of how he was a kid, being bullied, to him starting becoming a fighter, him finding the right boxing coach, that boxing coach teaching him, bringing him in like a adopted son, pretty much, becoming great, the world looking at him some type of way, and him falling into that narrative just because I guess you are what the world paints you to be. So he just fell into it. And I think he's doing a great job with his life and building it back up right now with his podcast. And um, yeah, I know he has a great relationship with his children. Great relationship with drugs, obviously. He smokes a lot of marijuana on his podcast, and he talks about how that calms down his inner demons or inner whatever. I don't want to speak directly for the man. But yeah, I think it's pretty fucked up personally. I don't know how you feel about this, Rob, but
So immediately, excuse me, I'm sorry. So immediately when you told me about this, the first thing I thought about was the HBO series about the Lakers and Jerry Buss. I forget
winning
what year it
time.
was. Yeah, it's called Winning Time. It's about Magic Johnson's rookie year and then winning the championship that year. I immediately thought about that because I'm not sure if any of them got paid for that, but I know directly that the producers of that show never went to anybody that was on that team, player, coaching staff, or anybody like that to get their opinions on it, to get their side of the story. And I knew that was a big deal why Magic Johnson didn't want to didn't had said he never watched the show and didn't support the show. Also because of that, I'm assuming that's why they came out with a documentary with the actual players on the team
Yep.
sometime after that on another network. But that's what the first thing I thought of when you told me that. But to hear that they're not going to be paying Mike for this is actually I feel like that's just Hollywood in a nutshell, though. If you try to make money off the man and just save money by not paying him, because if you had to, they would have to pay him a whole bunch of money to get that story. Not saying that it's going to be authentic, not saying it's not going to be good, but I think it's just fucked up we keep doing this and just
Yeah,
entertainment in general, man. And it sucks to see that happen to another black man and
you,
just somebody
you
in
know,
general.
I think you probably hit it on the head. Honestly, we don't got to just take this to just Mike Tyson and winning time. This is something in the culture that we've been seeing in general. Uh, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, pretty much pimps out these people and their art, and they get very little for it, for real, or they're not getting what they should get for it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a consistent thing, especially nowadays that we're seeing. And I just think that's messed up. Especially like this is somebody's full story, like life story. and you just making money off of it, that's not cool. And on top of it, I could be wrong about this, but I think they already have a story being made about Mike Tyson where Jamie Foxx is playing Mike
The
Tyson.
movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
So I've heard
Um,
rumblings about that. I don't know how far in the process they are of getting that done.
Me neither, but if which one would you rather see?
So here's
As
the
it turns
thing.
out,
So
we'll
here's
be
the
playing
thing.
Tyson.
I feel like even though I just shitted on Hollywood, I feel like Hollywood's really good at making biopics. Especially in like for the past like 10 years or so. They've always been really good at making biopics. There's only like a couple that you can name that are just like really, really bad. Like which one was it? The Tupac one? Was it Tupac? The
Wasn't terrible.
but it wasn't as good as you would want it to be. I feel like they were just trying to capitalize off the success of the NWA movie. But historically speaking, they do biopics really well. And that also brings me back to a thing that you said about the Elvis movie that came out. You were like, "Damn, bro, I hate that this movie's on. They look so damn good." That I think they're just really good at making biopics in recent history. But to answer your question, well, I'm not going to answer your question yet. Did you watch the O.J. Simpson trial that they did on Hulu?
On Hulu.
I'm sorry, it was actually through Fox, but it is on Hulu.
Through Fox. Through Fox.
FX.
Through FX?
Yes.
You talking about what Cuba was playing, OJ?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you talking about what was that called? American Story or something like that. OJ versus the People or something like that.
OJ versus the People. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was good.
here's what I want to say. Without seeing any of them or knowing either of them, and knowing that Jamie Foxx is really good at, I don't want to say character acting, but he's really good at voices and changing his voice to sound like Mike Tyson. I've heard his Mike Tyson impersonation. It's really good. I'm going to go with the Hulu one just because we're going to be able to spend more time with the character, which in a movie you probably only get 2 hours with the character and Mike Tyson, and it's told the story within 2 hours. Over a series, we're probably going to spend like what 6 to 10 episodes with them. So I'm going to go with the Hulu series.
I understand what you're saying,
Also,
but
also my fault to capitalize on that, they did a really good job with the what was that rap show I showed you? It wasn't.
Wu Tang?
Was it Wu Tang? Yeah,
You
they did
talking
a
about? Yeah.
really good job with that. And like I told you, man, that scene where they were showing how sampling works and how he was trying to explain sampling to his father, it was some of the best um movie storytelling, depiction,
But that scene is not.
showing.
That scene never happened though. That happened in somebody's head. That never really happened.
But it's still the way they did it from an artistic
I
standpoint was
understand what
beautiful and amazing. So
I
I'm
understand
gonna
what
go
you're
with
saying.
Hulu on this, just
I
based off that.
I'm not. I'm going with Mike Tyson. This is jacked up. This is a jacked up thing. I don't
What do you
like
mean
it.
you're
I
going with Mike
don't.
Tyson?
Mike Tyson. He deserves to at least get paid for this.
Well, I thought the
Like,
question was which one do you think is going to be better?
no, that is never my question.
Then
Never
what
my
was the
question.
question?
It was never a question. This I said this is messed up what they do in the industry.
I thought we were
That's
comparing this to the upcoming Jamie Foxx movie.
no. I was saying that more than he gave his blessing for the Jamie Foxx movie.
Okay.
I'm almost positive he said yes. Yes, this is the guy I want acting doom boom boom boom. But this is just completely out of left field. The Hulu thing is just out of left field. And while I do agree with you, and that's how shows work compared to movies, I just I can't get
Okay.
jiggy with this, man. You
Then
got to
let
pay him at least.
then let
At
me.
least pay him. Because not only that, bro, look what Netflix did to all the comedians. They pay every comedian that gave them a special. This is no different to me. This is no
They
different
didn't
than
pay
that same
Monique.
scenario. Huh?
They didn't pay Monique.
They did just pay her. She actually just got a deal done with Netflix.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Took years, yes, it took years, and I understand why it took the years that it took, but she finally got the deal done with Netflix.
Okay.
And I don't know when they're going to get a special done with her, but that's when That's what they got done with her. So I'm saying ultimately it's the exact same scenario, except he's not going to be on stage. His life was the stage. You're putting his life on stage. And I just think it's fucked up that you didn't pay him or get any type of clearance from him.
So
Nobody
how does
else's
that?
story is anywhere near to Mike Tyson's story. You can't compare it to nobody. You can't compare it to Muhammad. You can't compare it to any other famous boxer that ever lived.
Um. So do you know how that exactly works? Like, why weren't they able to get clearance? Can they just say it's from like, how does that work exactly?
I don't know, and that's the shit that bothers me because I'm relating this back to college football, right? Where the NI deal is name, image, likeness, right?
Yes.
That's everything that they're using with Mike Tyson right here. So we decided kids deserve to get paid for that, but debatably the best heavyweight of all time doesn't deserve to get paid for that.
But like, what are they basing it off of? Is it like, because usually when they make these type of shows, they might base it off a book that was written about Mike Tyson. They might get somebody in from his life. Like, I'm assuming Teddy Atlas is gonna be a part of it. Did they talk to Teddy Atlas? Like, how
I
does
don't know.
that work exactly? Like, how can I just write a movie about any celebrity about and just take their life from what we know as society and just make a story about it
Apparently you can.
and just
And
call it based on a true story and just have, I don't want to say fictitious parts, but Hollywood it up a little bit to make it more watchable to like a broader audience. Like, how does that work? I'm confused.
isn't that what they did with the Lakers too? Or did
The
somebody
Lakers
give
one,
them clearance?
I don't know. That's what I was confused with, because Magic Johnson said they didn't approve any of it.
I don't think the Bus family did either.
So because the way they have it, you can say this shows them in a negative light in some scenarios. They made no matter if it's true or not. They made Magic Johnson this kind of creepy sex addict. They had Jerry Busk low key raped this chick in a 2022 sense. He kind of raped this chick. Um,
We don't gotta
because she
talk
did,
about the same. We don't gotta keep using that word either.
my bad. He sexually assaulted this chick because she clearly didn't want to have sex with him, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of forced himself in Parlor. So it's like, so you're using these people in a negative light, but you're also not getting, I'm not saying the permission, but you're not getting their side of the story. So you're villainizing these people and not getting their side of the story is where I come to be like, how is this even possible?
And what you will honestly find from somebody like Mike Tyson is that he probably would not hide most of those things that you're going to even put in the movie or the show in this case.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't probably hide it. He probably wouldn't say, no, don't do that. He would probably say, no, it happened like this. So make it look like it happened like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I I don't know, man. I,
I
I
will.
just think it's really huh?
I do want to say this though. Do you know the story about him and Teddy Atlas when Teddy Atlas pulled the gun on him?
Yeah.
I feel like that. I want to see that in the movie. I feel like in an actual movie sense that would look like really incredible.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Mike Tyson's story is such a like I said, it's a great story, but it's also like he was the most scariest man on the planet. And debatably still is. Like and that type of shit don't really help the the legend not being that. And that I don't know. Um, I'm happy he is getting at least a movie done that he did get permission for because we do gotta give these guys flowers while they're still with us. That's one thing I will say. And there was only three Michaels. There was only three Michaels in the '90s. We all know that. And he was clearly the most scariest, baddest, strongest of them all. So, mm, is there any way that we can find out that what it's based off of? Like you said.
That's what I'm trying to look into right now.
Yeah, man, I can't get with it. What also bothers, it has to feel very weird. Like, let's say this actor does a great job and he changes his life, he becomes a famous actor off of this. There has to be some type of feeling of, man, y'all got to get permission from him. We should have sat down with him, something, because I don't know, it could just change your whole life. I think why are we talking about biopics as well? Why you keep looking this up? Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. He did it. He's probably the best person I've ever seen do multiple biopics. James Brown, Judge. Why am I forgetting the judge? Judge Marshall. Can't remember his full name. I don't know why. But yeah, he did a great job with multiple biopics. I just wanted to shout that out as him being one of the best to actually just feel like he's cloning himself and put him in another person's shoes all the time. Any word?
This shit's kind of long. I'll be 100 with you. Give me a second.
It's all good, bro. If we find out where they got the story from, because it could just be they just,
Like took it from like a book, like they did the Malcolm X story or something.
it's possible they didn't even take it off the book. Mike Tyson series is not a redemption story. Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know, bro. I can't get with this. I just cannot get with this. At least pay the man. At least pay him. And at this point, it might not even be about money for him. It might just be strictly, well, yeah, you fucked up. You should have. And I really wish if this was a thing, maybe they could sue, because it is a name, image, likeness that you're making money off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we finally said that you can't do that in college, well, why the fuck can't you do it in Hollywood? You know what I mean? I just think that's Hollywood. I think that's just fucked up.
Is it possible that
Hollywood is more bigger than college football.
no,
Yes,
no, no, that's not my point. I was trying to say that they can take more liberties with it, like more liberties with the story. Maybe you know how Hollywood does. They jazz things up a little bit, and that's why it's based on the true story. It's not a pure documentary, and that's why they can get away with it. Is there something to that? I
it
think
might
that's
be.
yeah.
But honestly, once again, I really feel like these people should be able to sue these companies and win,
What's if
because
because what
bro,
the
it's just doing damage. It's just doing damage, bro. I promise you, if somebody did this to, let's say, Harvey Weinstein before we all knew who he was, right? Like, in the sense of, what the shit that he does. You know what I mean?
hmm
Let's say somebody did this with Harvey Weinstein while he's still in that Hollywood chair in 2014, 2013, this movie comes out. Don't you think he will be able to sue? At that moment, don't you think he would be able to sue until all the shit actually came out on him?
You would think so
Because it
too, because you when I think about that, I think about the allegations against Michael Jackson, and they made like a whole TV
documentary.
show
Yeah,
thing about that, and I was like, I don't
fucked
know
up
if
too.
his estate did anything about it. Did anything about it? I know his kids did definitely speak out against it.
That was fucked up.
But they had Oprah on that shit. I thought it was I thought that was pretty gross.
I didn't even watch it. Those shits I can't even watch because they're trying to do one for everybody. They did one for R. Kelly, and I'm not trying to condone none of these people's behavior, but for Michael Jackson, the reason why it was the worst one because he wasn't here to defend himself in
Facts.
courtroom when he did get sued. And it was all of that. He was able to defend himself with lawyers. This shit is it's just vile, bro. That shit's just vile. I don't like that shit. R. Kelly, I understand. I don't like that shit. I don't like documentaries like that just because I can't watch them. If somebody else can, more power to you. I can't. Um, but they're trying to do one on Trey Songz right now. Like,
They said
there's
Trey
just
Songz' allegations are going to be like crazy.
devastating, devastating. But once again, I don't know. I wasn't in those rooms. All we can all do is wait till the evidence comes out if there's real evidence. And I think it's fucked up that I don't know. I just think it's fucked up. Is it? I don't know. Maybe these documentaries shouldn't be made until these people have their day in court, because I feel like that's pretty much what's happening. I feel like the documentary's coming out and then it's getting enough public outcry that is making these agencies actually look into it. And which is cool because we don't want these guys on the street if they are doing this fucked up shit. But I feel like it should go opposite. I feel like it should be courtroom decide that you're guilty and then we make a documentary about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the proven you're innocent until proven guilty.
Essentially what we're doing now is making the court of public opinion put pressure on these agencies to do something about it. And I think that's fucked up. Not necessarily fucked up, but you're curving the court of public opinion before the person ever has a, a day in court. And that already does happen with media and such. But now we're making it a story to hand to people. And that doesn't give you a chance to see, it doesn't give you a chance to let that person defend themselves because you already have your mind made up because you saw something on TV. And I just think, I don't know. Maybe we just so far with the media. I don't know.
Let me read this out loud. Some states have a hybrid form of intellectual property and privacy, tort commonly referred as the right of publicity, which protects various aspects of an individual's persona or personality. However, there are First Amendment limitations to bringing this kind of claim. As a public figure, reporting or documenting Mike Tyson's biography is almost certainly a fair use exception to any legal action under publicity rights, and I'm fairly sure Hulu Legal did their due diligence here. Excuse me. It sounds like Tyson may have had some sort of temporary exclusive licensing agreement to tell his story to someone else, which may be part of the reason why Hulu didn't approach him. However, since Hulu, they didn't seek Tyson for interviews or any other form of cooperation, Tyson is not entitled to anything. So basically, what that guy is saying is that it was public knowledge, and it's just documenting what happened in the
Yeah.
public.
It sounded like maybe 10 years before Tyson had, like they said, tell his story, right? So it sounded like he just had a contract year, couple years where he could have gave it to somebody like the TV, like the movie company, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that time probably ran out as Hulu was putting this together, and they said, "Fuck it." That's what it sounds like to me. And then it's just like, all right, fuck it. We got most of the information already.
And we could just fill in the blanks how we see fit.
Yeah, and personally, the only thing you can do to protect yourself is to make that tell his story a little bit longer in years. Take it away your whole life. Take it away and complete concession. I don't know. But essentially what you're telling me is if I know anything about the Rockefellers, I can make a movie about the Rockefellers. Without being sued unless they have something that tells that only they can tell their story, right?
Yeah. You just have to do your due diligence with some type of legal team to make sure you don't get sued.
And I'm sure that they already got that taken care of.
Yeah.
That they can't have their story told without somebody coming to them and nobody's gonna just come up to them and be like, yeah, give me your story. I do gotta
go ahead, finish what you're saying.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say I have a follow-up segment for this. Give me like three to five people. Who do you want to see a biopic of that hasn't been done yet?
That's a good question. That's a good one. That's a really good question. Ooh. They've had some fire ones come out in the past couple of years, like I was gonna say Harriet Tubman, for example, but they've had one come out on it recently. That's tough. Who you got? I would say Frederick Douglass is one.
I went straight to Michael Jordan. I think that shit would be crazy. Maybe
I'm
a little
good.
corny, but I think that shit would be pretty crazy. Maybe in another 10 years or so, I'll like to see like a Kobe documentary because by
Is a
then,
biopic? Are we talking about biopic or documentary?
biopic.
Okay.
I like to see like a Kobe one and just see like Kobe and Shaq in film. I think that would be kind of interesting. From a maybe a musical standpoint, um, this might we might need 20 years for this. Get some light skinned dude to be Drake.
Bro, stop.
That would be hilarious.
Can we stay in historical context
Drake's gonna be
instead of just
historical
doing?
context 20 years from now.
Can we, you said who do you want to see a biopic done of? Can we stay right now and not look into the crazy future? Because, for
Okay,
example, I was going to choose The Rock, for example,
I
but I
feel
don't
that
want to see a biopic on The Rock right now.
I still think
Maybe
The Rock's
later.
still relatively young and still like in like the prime of his celebrity. I think
That's
you can
why I
wait
just
like
said.
20,
That's why I
30
said
years.
exactly. I don't want to see that for years from now. That's my whole point. Let's stay right now. That's why I went Frederick Douglass. Um, ah, the first black somebody, was it Airman? I
Talking
think
about
they had a movie though. They had a
the
movie.
Tuskegee Airmen. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
They had a movie. It's called Red Tails.
yeah.
Really good movie. Go check it out.
Uh, this is a tough. That's a tough question, bro. That's just a tough question.
Ooh, I
We've
got
had
one.
who you got?
I don't. It's not a person per se, but if they did a biopic about like Black Wall Street and like the Tulsa,
Yeah, they're doing that. LeBron and Westbrook, they said we're working on that separately or together.
that
I
might be
don't
a
know.
brick.
Stop. But they've been working on that since George Floyd. I've heard or around then,
That'd be really dope. That'd be really dope if they could pull that
and they
off.
actually came up with the idea. I like that idea. That needs to be done. Um, I know they kind of did this, but I would kind of want to see one on the Black Panthers. But I want to see it on a actual, like they did it with Fred Hampton, right?
Yeah,
In this past couple years, and which I still did not see that movie all the way through. It breaks my heart just a couple minutes that I saw
I
of it.
couldn't. I couldn't finish that movie either.
It's too tough of a movie, bro. I swear. I've skipped around parts, just like watched, like turned it on, and
Hmm.
it was at a different part, and I still be like, yeah, I can't watch this. I can't. Um, but yeah, I would love to see one on all the Black Panthers from like a Phoenix Shakur, Huey Newton, all of them.
I got a good one. Um, I don't think they've ever done like a crazy biopic about like the Beatles
No,
because, and I think that would be perfect.
that'll be good too.
Um, get like some of your get like your top five favorite white actors right now, put them in a group. I think that would be really good.
Is it just me, or it seems like we naming a. I don't know. I feel like Black stories are being told a lot, but when I try to think of a white person, I got Johnny Cash, I got Elvis. And Elvis one is just about to come out. Can we really name him much more?
I said the Beatles.
But that's something that we want. I'm talking about stuff that is going to
There's
happen
been
or
actually a
already
ton
happened.
of there's been a ton of white biopics that came out recently. There was that Freddie Mercury one. He was from Queen. That
That
came
was a
out.
good movie. That was a good movie.
Elton John movie came out.
Yep,
So
yep. Rocket
there
Man.
has been a ton of white artists that white
Yeah.
people love. Uh, Jared, my roommate showed me the Motley Crue movie.
Are they American?
Motley Crue.
Yeah,
Yes.
gotcha.
According to Jared, they're the reason we look at rock stars the way we look at rock stars today. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what they were. Partying every night, drinking every night, go on stage, repeat. They're like the reason we look at rock stars the way we look at rock stars.
I would
Oh, here's
also like
another
to
good
see
rock band.
Jimi Hendrix.
Kiss. I don't know that much about Kiss except for like some of their hits. That would be really
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know. We also got to understand we don't know all these people's stories, right?
Not in
We don't.
depth. It was like it
Yeah,
wasn't our time necessarily, not our genre of music either. So I think that'd be
exactly.
really cool to dive into.
I would like to see Jimi Hendrix though. like a
That'd be
real
good.
Jimi Hendrix one. I've seen ones before, but they stopped right. The one that I seen specifically, I seen two specifically, I think, and it stopped right before he actually came to America. Like right before his fame in America blew up, and I want to see it kind of all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. So there's a couple. There's
All
a
right.
couple I would like to see.
So here's I gotta preface this by saying I don't like how they shoot some sports films because they it seems to be unrealistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what football player would you want to see a biopic of that you think they can do really well?
Um.
Because I always feel like how they tackle the actual sports scenes in sports films has
Any
always
given
been kind of
Sunday,
corny and kind of
I was
bad.
gonna say, in any given Sunday is probably the best I've ever seen them do on field. Like, it actually, Remember the Titans was done pretty well. Like when it came to like actual on field stuff,
Yeah,
I would say Remember the Titans and what was the first movie I named? Any given Sunday.
yeah.
I feel like those are the two most, when you see it on film, like the POV in Any Given Sunday, it gives you like, you're sitting there with the quarterback, you don't know what the fuck is about to happen type shit. You just know he's about to get hit.
Okay.
um, so to say that, I think we should. I think I don't know why I'm thinking football automatically. I guess.
Because I asked you about
Oh,
football.
oh, you did. Well, that's tough. I want to do something that's not based on quarterbacks all the time, though, because I feel like that's what they will automatically go to. I would love to see one on some of the great linebackers of the '80s and '60s and '70s and stuff. Dick Buckuses, the Lamberts, the Jack Hams. I would love to see stuff on that. Mean Joe Green. That wouldn't be bad.
So not to cut
The
you
thing
off, not
to
saying
try
that
to make
those
it a
would
full
be
movie would be kind of hard.
not saying those would be bad movies, but for like the general public, you still got to get the general public to go see that movie. That sounds like something that will be really good, but you'll put like on ESPN. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying, but okay,
Look, I'll give you a good one. I have a baseball one. Barry Bonds during like that steroid era of baseball. That was a big. That's probably as big as baseball has ever gotten in the modern era. That would be
come on,
really
biopic
cool.
once again.
Yeah, biopic. So it will still have to be somebody. What's the word? Uh, not pers- I don't know. Somebody who like people know who they are, even though they don't like that
The
watch
story,
football type shit.
the story has to be something crazy. So it has to be something like a Barry Sanders or a Bo Jackson, right? Somebody like them,
That could
where
sell.
you're
Yeah,
sitting there yeah, where you're sitting up there in Detroit and you're like, man, I'm really one of the best. I'm really one of the best. But every day you go home and you're like, why the fuck are we not winning championships if I'm the best?
yeah.
And then for Bo Jackson to be like, yeah, I'm the best. Everybody knows I'm the best. I play both sports, and then I'm so strong that I've injured myself. Nobody else could do it. I injured myself. Type shit. I feel like there's a little bit of Friday Night Lights. What's my dude's name? Booby Miles, in Bo Jackson's story.
Okay, I like that one.
So there are ones out there that would be kind of cool, but it's kind of hard to find them in football sometimes. You gotta find that right story, and like you said, you gotta make it a little bit more
You gotta be still be able to
relatable.
Hollywood it up a little bit, but they still have
Well,
to
if
be
they,
such a star that people don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I would
not that
love,
they don't know who they are. People have to know who they are who don't watch the sport. That's how big
I
of
would,
an impact they had on the world.
I would love for them to do something with like Tom Brady and how the sport has changed compared to like the first quarterbacks or the quarterbacks who was really getting hit, who got like broken ribs. Who did LT hurt? Like he ended his career, Joe Theismann. Like then Tom Brady, who's probably had one real injury, like one real like it sets you out
Yeah,
injury type.
miss a whole season.
Yeah, opposed to these guys who was war back then, bro. It was a real war back then. So I don't know. I think that would be kind of interesting as well to see like the greatness of the quarterbacks nowadays because of rules change.
Hmm.
Um, I think that'd be good. Uh, there's a couple. Lamar Jackson is going to have a great story at the end of this all.
If he's able to get over that hump, yes. Um,
He has to win a championship. Yeah.
or at least get there. Let us know down below who you guys want to see a biopic of. Let us know in the comment section down below, and if you let us know, we'll read them off next week. That'll be
Not just
really fun.
sports biopics either. We're talking about all biopics,
Any
musicians,
biopics, musicians, entertainment,
anyone,
anybody.
anyone. Even if you could think of who did Leonardo play in that one movie, Human. I don't know who that guy's name was. Glassman, something like that. Glass. Uh, Hugh
Something about
Glass or something like that. The
you talking
Revenant.
about
The Revenant.
the Revenant. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's based on a true story. Like, dude, really, did most of that, at least allegedly. So anybody that you could think of in history, let us know.
All right. So we're going to move on to another sports topic. We're going to talk a little bit about the Brittany Griner situation.
I was gonna say, do you think this is a sports topic or do you think this is a political sports topic?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I low key feel at this point in my life, you can tell me I'm wrong. I feel like everything's politics at the end of the day.
yeah, I can see that.
Because anything can be turned into politics. They're each side, conservatives and liberals, are really good at changing the narrative that fit what they want to say and what they want to tell you, and they can
Spinning the
make
story,
anything into a sports topic. I'm sorry, into a political
political.
topic. But first of
Yep.
all, I want to ask you, Darren, how do you feel about this Brittany Griner situation? We just learned that she officially has 9 years in prison, according to Russia, the
And
Russian government. How does this make you feel? What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know, man. When this first came out, I was like, man, that's like when it first came, not the 9 years. I'm talking about when she first got arrested over there for this. I was like, man, you can't do that. Like you can't have stuff that you can't have over there. Like there's countries like you can't. I understand what America is. Where the West, we vote on things. Da da da. Marijuana is becoming more of a prominent thing in America with the legalization, recreational or medical use wise. I understand it, but you can't do that overseas. That being said, it's breaking my heart nowadays because that was over 100 days ago, easily over 100 days ago, and that was just breaking my heart to see her still over there and see this still happening to her. I really just hate to see it happen. I just really hate to see it happen to her. But I also there's so many things that comes to play with this. Like you said, or someone else said, there's other people being held over in Russia who did things for this country, for our country, um, that were just being held over there. I think that's fucked up as well. Um, it's a tough situation. Somebody else was saying earlier this week that last year or 2 years ago, someone was detained in Russia for 19 grams of marijuana, and that person is back within like a week after like getting arrested in Russia. So she is definitely being used as a political ploy, but at the same time, I feel sorry for her, bro. I feel sorry. Like I don't think that she deserves this. To be honest with you, nobody deserves this, let alone. But yeah,
Nah, so here's my thing. She definitely does not deserve this, and Russia is definitely holding her a hostage, and it gave her definitely way more time than what she deserved. She definitely should have got some type of shorter sentence, maybe like a couple months or something like that. But 9 years is absolutely ridiculous. Saying that, she's a stupid one for trying to bring what was it, marijuana hash into the country. Was it,
oil. I think yeah.
yeah, marijuana oil into the country? So that's her fault in general.
Well, the thing
And
is,
for
she was
me,
already traveling. She was already traveling throughout the country.
but she got caught.
Yeah, she was just traveling, and she already had it on her. I'm guessing, and she just was traveling to a different part of the country.
So first of all, it's her fault for getting caught. Second of all, I'm not going to lose a second of sleep or shed a tear for something like this because we all know for a fact if this was a regular citizen in the United States, this wouldn't be as big of a story, and they would not give a shit about this. Give a shit
And a
about this.
person
There
will
wouldn't be
probably also not
WNBA
be in
players
Russia.
crying all over TV about this. You know what I'm saying? People wouldn't care. And also the fact that
Not
we
fair.
have, like you said, people who fought for this country that's been over there for like 4 years, and we're trying to trade Brittany Griner for a arms dealer. How come we don't get that guy back? Why are we trying to get Brittany Griner back so bad? How do we actually get somebody who's actually fought for our country back? We don't know their names. I just think it's really gross way to look at the situation.
I think it's I don't know, bro. I think it's one of those where you gotta bring light to the issue. You know what I mean? And I think this is just one of those where that happens. She's bringing a light to the issue because of what happened to her. Now, that's how people would say, and I hate to say this, but certain people look at George Floyd like that. They say, don't look at him as a martyr. Don't look at him as a hero. He was somebody that, got killed. Like he just got killed. Y'all can look at him as the person who brought light to the issue, but you can't look at him as a martyr. Same thing in this scenario. Maybe you don't look at her as a martyr, but you can look at her as somebody who brought light to the issue. And I agree with you. We got to do something about the people who's over there that did shit for this country. But at the same time, there's a reason why they're being held over there. The same reason we have their arms dealer over here. There's this probably been a thing already. Like not necessarily like a thing in public eye, but in to the actual countries and the diplomatic leaders, yes, it's probably already been a thing.
There's one more thing I want to bring up. You can call this a tangent if you want, but I just like for people to call a spade a spade. Um, Brittany Griner has been accused for domestic violence. If this was a
That has
man accused of domestic violence, they would not
nothing
be the
to do
same
with
exact
this
support for her.
situation. This has
This
nothing to
would
do with
not
this
be the same
situation.
exact
That
support for
has
her.
nothing to do with this situation,
It's
Rod.
a fact, though. They would
There
not
has
care as much if a man committed domestic violence and got trapped in another country.
I don't even know if that's true. I can't tell you if that's true. I can't tell you if that's true, Rod. I do not know. I do not know if that's the truth.
It's
I'm telling
because
you
she's a
right now,
woman
those
who
are
committed
two
domestic
separate issues.
violence.
That is two separate
We
issues.
write it off.
That is two separate issues. You cannot combine somebody's past with what they did in their own household to what they're accused of doing in a different country. This is not an equivalent. You can't.
I'm
You
not
can't.
trying to make them equivalent. I'm just saying, if it was a man who committed domestic violence, who was in the same situation, we would be bringing up the domestic violence charges every single day to diminish him.
I
That's a
don't think
fact.
that. I don't think
That's a
that.
fact.
I think people are trying to diminish Brittany Griner, but I don't think they're bringing up that. I just don't think they're bringing that up.
But we just act like
They're
it
trying.
doesn't happen because it's a female, though. Let's be honest.
You said what?
We act like it does. It didn't happen because she's a female.
No, we act like it did. We don't know what. We don't
When a
care.
woman
We
commits
don't know.
domestic violence,
We don't,
it's a
bro.
joke. When a man commits
Bro,
domestic violence, they need to be thrown under the jail.
that's court of public opinion shit, and I don't live with that shit. I think I proved that in the last topic we just discussed that I don't live with court of public opinion. Fuck that shit. Let the courts actually decide it, and then people can judge their own shit. I don't do that. I'm not that person. Like I'm not doing that. I can't do this because I don't think about Chris Brown beating anybody the same way I don't think about Brittany Griner beating anybody. I think of him as a talented musician and her as a talented ass basketball player.
She
I don't
alright.
think about that shit.
She alright.
She's talented.
She alright.
She's talented. She's tall, but she's talented. She's gotten better as she's been in the WNBA. I can't
Also,
necessarily agree with that.
at the end of the day, I just think it's a bad trade. It doesn't make sense.
Is it a
Now,
bad trade? Yes.
saying that, if she's able to help get those military people who are over there, if that's the reason we bring them back, okay, I guess it was all for a good reason at the end of the day.
Thank you.
God had a plan. But I think it's bullshit that they're still over there in the first place. And the only reason that they're going to get back is because of Brittany Griner, because she's a celebrity. I think that's bullshit, and that shows true flaws in our system.
You think that's the flaws in the system? How were we going to get them back before without trading the arms dealer?
I think it makes more sense to trade the arms dealer for them than for Brittany Griner.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I guess.
And that's
Bro, at the
before
end,
Russia
the
declared
pro-
war on Ukraine.
and that's the biggest problem, bro. Like that is the biggest problem. Another thing that I initially thought was, what the hell was she still doing in Russia? Obviously, she was playing basketball, but if there was ever a year just to say no, just no, I'm not,
So,
or just to leave, just leave and let your management deal with it.
in her
Because
defense, regarding that, Russia has been threatening Ukraine for years and hasn't done anything. And this isn't the first year she went over to Russia to play basketball.
but this is the first year they did it.
Yeah, but she was already over there when they did it. You see what I'm
Then
saying?
leave.
She tried.
I'm sorry, but leave.
I think didn't she try?
I don't know. I don't know if that story came out. I'm not blaming her. I'm truly not trying to blame her, but I'm telling you, in my situation, if that was me, I understand they don't get paid a lot over here. I'm leaving that situation. You got COVID, and then you got Russia and Ukraine, and then you got America being involved in that, even if they're not involved in it.
Darren,
I'm leaving that.
I
I'm
don't
leaving
think
that scenario.
I don't think that even comes up in your mindset during that, because she didn't know it was happening until it happened. So I don't know if she could have just left. You know what I'm saying?
I'm leaving.
It's not like she had like a week's notice.
He did.
Huh?
They did.
That
It just wasn't Russia. It was the opposite. They said any American people in Ukraine, y'all need to get home because we can't protect y'all over there. We can't help y'all over there. We can't guarantee you get back. A week before Russia actually went into the Ukraine and they were just setting stuff up around the Ukraine, they were telling Americans, get home. It just wasn't Russia.
Well, maybe she thought she was on the winning side or something. I don't know.
Exactly, Rob. That's my whole point. If I'm going to be on the winning side, let me go to my country that's the winning side in America. I don't need to be on Russia's winning side.
I don't know, but she was getting significantly more money. I think they said she was making like
I
$1 million,
understand.
where
I understand.
they get paid like what? Maybe a good WNBA player gets paid 80,000 to 100.
It's more. It's a lot more, or at least
So
more. Like I said, I don't blame her for being over there. I don't blame her for staying over there. I would have personally did what I would have did. That being said, I don't know what other basketball leagues were going on at that time. I just really hope she gets home. I'm a WNBA fan on top of it. Like I think Rob will tell you, I watched the WNBA, but
I don't know that.
I've never told you I watched the WNBA.
You say you did, but I never seen you watch the WNBA.
All right, I guess. But yeah, I'm a WNBA fan. I don't like to see this happen. I personally just don't like to see this happen. And I do understand every situation that you can attack this point of view. Like Rob said, you can't trade an arms dealer for her. But then at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not a president, and I don't want to be a president in these situations. I can honestly say there's a lot of pressure. A lot of people think, oh, if this was LeBron James, he'll be back over. I think we need to
Facts.
stop. We need to
Facts.
stop.
It's true
We need
though.
to stop doing that. We need to stop
It's
doing
true
that
though.
though.
Hey,
We don't.
I would
No,
go
we need to
protest
stop
in the
doing
streets
that.
for LeBron James.
We need to stop doing that. We have got to stop doing
It's
that.
true though.
We don't know.
If LeBron James got trapped in Russia, we would have a fit. The only people that are going to be happy are Boston Celtic fans.
These are a few famous people over there that we can say that then. There's only a few famous people because when ASAP was locked, no, Rock. When ASAP was locked up overseas and Donald Trump brought him back, there wasn't no huge outcry for ASAP. His fans were the people that were like, yo, this is fucked up. Same thing with Freddie Gibbs. It was like, yo, this is fucked up. But America was not saying, oh, bring them back. There's only a few famous people, and LeBron James is probably the only basketball player, probably him and Steph Curry, that we will say, get them back here ASAP.
Darren, America would have a fit if Drake got locked up. He's not even from
Drake is not us.
He's not from
If
our
we
country.
argued that,
We
if we
shut
argued that,
down
we
the
would look.
streets of America. We burning fucking our businesses for Drake to get Drake back in
I'm not.
America.
I'm not doing that.
And
So he
this
so
nigga's
he
from
can go to Canada. You want me to burn down my place for business? So this man could go to Canada? Fuck that. You're crazy. I'm
It's
not. I'm
facts
not. I'm
though.
not up. I'm not
We
up
sit in
crying for
sickle
Drake.
mode every night until
No.
Drake come
No.
home.
You no. Stop.
Oh shit.
I'm not doing this. But I'm saying there's only a couple famous people that I think people will really go crazy over in that sense. And I just don't think that's something that we should be comparing.
Yeah, because
It's like hitting the lotto, like hitting the Mega Millions or some shit. Odds are you're not going to be that person.
all right. So I got a couple other topics I wanted to do with you that are a little bit more on the fun side. So I found this TikTok on YouTube Shorts that I wanted to show you. It's a Dak Prescott. Would you rather? So go name Dak Prescott and another quarterback, and you gotta tell me, would you rather Dak Prescott or that quarterback?
Are we pausing throughout this?
Of course, yeah.
All right, bet.
Oh my God!
So would you rather have Dak or this player? Dak or Matt Ryan?
This is right now, by the way.
Are we talking about the teams that they're on too?
Yes, right now, going into this season.
I'll take Matt Ryan.
I'll take Dak Prescott. Why are you taking Matt Ryan?
Yeah, I'm taking Matt Ryan because he has a better run game. It's the first time he's had a run game the way he has it, and I think Matt Ryan had a terrible offensive line the past couple of years.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this. It's not the teams; it's the quarterback. So you have a blank team. You got to take a quarterback, but it's still at their age going into this season. Does that make more sense?
For one season?
No, just going forward.
For the rest of, that's not fair though. That's not fair.
All right,
Dak is younger.
Then. This upcoming season, you have a blank team.
A blank team. I don't know what a blank team is. Oh, that's what my problem is.
You're basically going to build your offense around this guy. You don't know if you're going to be able to have a run game. You don't know if you're going to have crazy superstar receivers. Who do you think is a better quarterback going into the season? Dak Prescott or Matt Ryan?
It's such a hard question with a team sport.
Dak Prescott. That's easy.
I guess. Matt Ryan is nice though, but okay.
Oh shit. Right out the gate's a tough one. Dak Prescott or Derek Carr?
Derek Carr, no question.
I think this one's way tougher than the last one.
This is not even a question for me. Both of them, I would say this about both of them. Both of them have games that they disappear. Like there was one game I think last year where you actually see him doing his thumbs up. I'm almost positive Marcus Mariota was actually at quarterback. He's just lined up somewhere else. But at the same time, I've seen Dak have games where it's just like he just disappears badly until like the fourth quarter. I'm taking Derek Carr. I just trust him to win the game for me a little bit more.
So here's what I would say. I feel like Dak Prescott started off so hot, that rookie season he had, that I feel like he has such a high expectation and he's come down from that expectation, where Derek Carr has progressively gotten better and better and better and better throughout his career. I'm not sure exactly what their age difference is, but I feel like Derek Carr will be the safer decision because, like I said, he's getting better with time. Where Dak, it's more like it feels like a roller coaster ride.
Facts. And I feel like it's a roller coaster around Derek Carr, not necessarily Derek Carr being the roller coaster.
Derek Carr. Dak. Derek Carr.
Ooh.
Dak or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar
It's
Jackson.
not a question. You can skip
I think
this.
that's super easy. The way Lamar affects a football game, you can say he's one dimensional, but his running ability hasn't been seen before. How good of running he is. And I
runner.
feel
He's also
comfortable with him progressing as a passer in
yeah.
the future.
I'll take Lamar.
Know what you're gonna say, Lamar.
Lamar. Dak or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
I like Kyler Murray better.
I'm sorry. The
He has
only
just
thing
too
that
many intangibles.
so what?
He has too many intangibles.
I don't even got to get to that. It's just he's a. I'll be honest. He's a better thrower of the ball. He's better outside the pocket. He's better. He's more dynamic of a player. That's the last two players that we just said. People who can. I trust Kyler more, even though I don't trust him late in the season. But sure, I guess, yeah.
Dak, just because of the leadership.
Kyler.
I'm going to take Dak. I like leadership.
There you go.
Dak or Ryan Tannehill?
Ooh. I'm gonna say Ryan Tannehill.
I'm taking Dak. Why do you take Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill. You remember Derrick Henry missed a lot of time last year,
He missed like half the season.
and they still was the number one team in the AFC.
But then they lose in their first game in the playoffs.
Their first game in the playoffs was versus Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they lost.
If you rewatch that game, Ryan Tannehill played bad, but the defenses on both sides just played fucking crazy. Like they both played like that was a really good defensive game. Yeah, I'll take Ryan Tannehill all day. He got them to be the number one seed in the AFC. Dak is struggling to win his division. Ryan Tannehill runs with the ball. He's honestly a really good athlete. And can we really name his weapons besides AJ Brown last year?
Well, I don't know if that's fair because they are such a run first dominant team.
Were they when Derrick Henry was gone?
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
How weren't they? Did
They
Derrick Henry not
they
lead
ran the
league?
ball well. They ran the ball well, but
He
they
led the-
wasn't Derrick Henry.
He led the league in rushing before he got hurt.
Who?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he did.
He would have won MVP
But-
if he didn't get hurt.
He got hurt, and they still won the AFC.
Yeah, but Darren, he would have won MVP if he didn't get
Let me
hurt.
just get. Nah, bro. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but he got hurt, right? And they still won the AFC. Dak had Amari, CD, Gallup, and Wilson, Cedric Wilson, and Pollard. And honestly, I like his offensive coordinator more than I like Tennessee's offensive coordinator.
Why?
Why do I like him more?
Because Tennessee was really good at what they did, was run the football, get AJ Brown on one-on-one situations so he can make plays. It's more simplistic than the Cowboys offense, but it still won them football games.
I'm going Ryan Tannehill. I think he's just more of a better athlete too, bro. I like Ryan Tannehill more. If you say this quarterback did it with less, this quarterback had more and didn't do it, I'm going to go with the guy who had less.
He didn't. You can't say he had less. Honestly,
I'm
he probably
saying he had
more.
less.
Derrick
I'm
Henry
saying
is
he
a
got less.
once in a lifetime running back.
He wasn't there. That's where we're losing this. Like, I remember a guy named Hilliard playing, McNichols, and stuff like that. I don't know.
They had a real
Derrick Henry was
probably had
not
the
there.
Best run game in the whole league.
No, they don't. When Derrick Henry was not there, they did not have the best run game in the league. You want me to name who did? Because I can tell you. It was Philly. It was San Francisco. It was not Tennessee.
That's crazy. First round
Through those games that Derrick Henry was out, it was not Tennessee. It was Jonathan Taylor. It was San Francisco. It was Philly.
But once
and
again,
maybe Cleveland.
Jonathan Taylor doesn't sniff the rushing that Derrick Henry was going to do unless he had that foot injury, bro. He was
I agree with
him
you,
in
but
that
Derrick
line
Henry
was that
wasn't there.
whole
That's where
offense.
you're losing this whole argument. Derrick Henry was not there the whole year. He, like you said, he missed a lot of time. That's where we're missing this. You keep on saying they had a great running game and then mentioning Derrick Henry. And I'm saying, no, Derrick Henry was not there and they had good running backs. Ryan
And they were still
Tannehill
solid
got.
at running the football, even though they didn't have their freak of a moose.
All right, let's do this. Let's just do this. Which one is the tougher conference? AFC or NFC?
Right now, the AFC.
All right. What is
Last
the
year,
weakest division in football?
the weakest.
The NFC least, where the
NFC
Cowboys
East.
are.
Yeah.
He won the tougher conference. He was in the lower division.
But
The
you keep
lowest
talking about
division.
them being winning the AFC, but then they lost in the first round.
They lost. Technically, it was the second round because they had the
To
bye
what
week.
technically, on paper, and according to, if I'm correct, according to Vegas, a worser team. If I remember correctly, the Cowboys weren't the odds favorite to win their playoff game. Tennessee was. And they were the number 1 seed. So
I don't know
it's an
about
upset
that.
in
I don't
both
know
ways.
about that. I don't know about that. I know Tennessee was favored to win, but I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like they didn't win. The Cowboys
And
didn't win
according
either.
to you, they didn't win because Ryan Tannehill played bad.
Yeah. He didn't play good. He didn't play his best.
All right, we'll see if there's. I think this is the last one.
Dak.
Yeah, Dak.
Nah,
Yeah, come on now.
Dak.
Come on. Let's not go there.
I don't think this is a come on.
It's not
That's
good.
disrespectful.
Dak or Kirk Cousins?
Stop this, y'all. Stop the disrespect of Kirk Cousins. I cannot
How
stand
is this
it.
disrespectful?
Cannot stand it because I'm going to go with Dak. But y'all disrespect Kirk Cousins. He's nice.
He's not nice. He's all right.
He is nice. He is a nice quarterback. He's a range quarterback. He's better than some people out there.
Is he top
You
10?
can no,
Is he top 15?
possibly.
Then how is he nice? He's above average.
Above average is nice. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't like how people disrespect Kurt. I'm going to go Dak right here, Dak Prescott, but it's only because I trust that Dak can get out the pocket and make a little bit more noise with his feet, opposed to Kirk Cousins being an actual drop back quarterback. But that's the only reason why I'm making that decision.
I think this is obvious. It's Dak Prescott.
Dak.
All right, y'all.
What
Y'all
are we-
crazy.
Dak. Okay, so would you rather have Dak or this player?
I think that's it.
I just don't get it. I don't get why people. I don't get why America love the Cowboys. I just don't get it.
We have one more thing that I want to wrap up with. That's another little TikTok thing. It's more of a story per se.
We gotta still see the lightning bolt.
If stamina
Look at
run
Mullen's a
out.
bitch.
Oh.
I know damn well.
If stamina
Look at
run
Mullen's a
out.
bitch.
Oh.
I know damn well. He is a flat bitch. He is a petulant bitch at its finest. And when it wasn't going well, he took his basketball and went home. That's what he did. And I've said it 100 times. I don't think Dan Mullen is a great head coach because he's not a good leader, and he has Napoleon complex because he was inept as a player. I mean, we can go through his whole psychology, but he's just not a good dude. He's not. What he did to those assistant coaches, they had contract extensions on his desk from the previous year because the AD said, if this doesn't go well, I want these guys taken care of. Dan Mullen had those in a drawer and never signed them. And then checked the fuck out, stopped recruiting, stopped trying, and when everyone got fired, he got his millions of dollars payday to get fired, and all those assistants got kicked the fuck out with nothing.
If stamina
Dan
run
Mullen's a
out.
He was a basketball coach.
Football coach. I think he was just using it as like a That's
Oh,
like the
analogy.
saying. Yeah.
Um,
Took a ball home and left.
well, he's not there no more, right?
Yeah, he got fired.
Yeah, I don't got no problem with this. I don't know none of this to be true or not anything like it, but those Florida teams
Very disappointing. These
very
past,
like
5-6 years.
exactly, bro. Like, oh my goodness, like the talent on the defensive line, the talent at receiver, the talent at quarterback with Trask. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think they had talented teams, but I know the NFC, the SEC is what it is, so I'm not going to hold it too much.
Just to give you backstory on this guy, I don't know a lot about him, but I believe he was assistant coaches on a lot of Urban Meyer staff. And so he probably was an assistant coach with Dan Mullen on what some of Urban Meyer's staffs. I will say this though. He has another video talking about Urban Meyer. Candidly like this, and he was saying how Urban Urban was basically like a receivers coach, right? He was talking about Urban and how Urban didn't like Terry McLaurin when he was trying to recruit Terry McLaurin to Ohio State. And Urban said, I've coached receivers my whole life. That dude's not good enough to play here. We're talking about recruiting him to Ohio State. And he was able to talk Urban into getting Terry McLaurin to Ohio State.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little bit of backstory on him.
I don't doubt that Urban Meyer knows his football, but he got some questionable things.
But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about Florida football for like 2 seconds. I don't know a lot about it in the past couple of years. I know it's been very disappointing. That's all I gotta say. It's just been very disappointing. I feel like they fall into like a middle of the pack SEC team.
Yeah, not just Florida. Florida State, Miami, all those teams in Florida. Now I think about it, but we can just leave that alone.
All right, so you really want to watch this video? Go ahead.
I just wanted to end it with this because I think this is at Top Golf, and a kid goes for a great swing, and on a rainy day, let's just let it go from there.
Golf ball struck by lightning.
I'll rewatch this so many times. You can see
Golf ball
it out there.
struck by lightning.
What are the odds?
Golf ball
What are the
struck
odds?
by lightning.
What would your reaction be? I would be like, "Did you get that on camera? We got to go home."
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy.
What would you do if you saw that?
I'm chilling.
I'll be like, "Damn, that was close." But yeah, I just wanted to say that just so everybody can know. Be careful when it's a stormy weather out there.
Yeah, definitely be safe out here, guys. Definitely be safe out here.
Go ahead, wrap up though.
All right, so thank you guys again for watching another episode of the Purple Pill Podcast. This was episode 81 of the Purple Pill Podcast. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below, and we'll be back next week with LA. See y'all next time. Peace.